The Lifestyle Show, presented by Selina Mackenzie.
Now, it is that time of the year again when we all want to get back into a healthy mindset and maybe lose a little bit of weight after lots of overindulging over Christmas. Hopefully here to help us is an excellent nutritionist called Karen Jacobson. Welcome to the show, Karen.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, I know we've spoken before and I've seen your excellent presentations. And what I liked about you is it's not the usual fad diets, get a gym membership. You know, you've got a different approach to it. So tell us how you approach weight loss and healthy eating.
Yeah, this comes from my own life story of being one of those seemingly superstars in the world of fat and trying to understand what was wrong with me. You know, when I applied principles of the usual frameworks that we look at around weight loss, which is eat less, move more, that wasn't working for me. And so really I went down a rabbit hole of understanding metabolism, understanding what is driving our weight gain. And really it comes down to a functional medical approach or a scientific approach where you have to understand that there are so many systems in the body working in synergy, from the hormonal system to the nervous system to the lymphatic system to the digestive system. And if these systems are not working as they should, then these principles of eat less, move more just will not work for you.
Because everybody's body's different, isn't it, Karen? And there are some people, I mean, I've got friends that can eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and are still stick thin. And then there's other friends, and including myself, who, you know, tries to diet, tries to be healthy, but just can't shift the weight.
Yeah. And, you know, this all comes down to biology, which is how I work with my clients in clinic. It's really understanding the journey of food from chewing to pooing. So obviously we should be eating nutritionally dense food. And if our system is working properly, so if your gut health system is working properly, the nutrients from that food is absorbed from the food into your body, your pathways are open, minerals and vitamins and proteins and fatty acids are getting where they need to go. And therefore the body's able to function in the same way. If you didn't have a microphone, we couldn't be doing this interview right now. Your body really needs tools for the job. And, you know, there are so many things that are not our fault, which is throwing our biology off. And this is where the food systems around us that are there to support us are letting us down. Because as soon as you start putting in fake, artificial and engineered and inflammatory ingredients, as soon as your gut health is compromised, you know, it just starts, from a production line point of view, a catastrophe of, nutrients not being absorbed, the body unable to function. And then, of course, symptoms will show up.
Okay, so how does one find out? How do I, for example, find out exactly what I should be eating, what I shouldn't be eating, if parts of my body aren't working correctly, if my hormones are wrong? How do we find out?
Yeah, so there's a lot of, this is where working with people in this functional health industry is really helpful. There's a lot we can do without testing, and then there's testing for diagnostics as well. So, you know, for anyone coming to work with me, I am, this is my passion and purpose. I'm going to work with what you've got to give me, whatever time, energy, and budget you have. I'm going to work towards that. If you have no budget, we can spend money doing testing. So there's lots of things we can test. Your microbiome, which is your balance of gut bacteria, and often this is the best place to start. Obviously I'm 50, and there's the whole hormonal shift that happens in menopause, and that can really throw us off our game. And we can do testing like the Dutch test to test hormones. And of course, there's blood testing to test nutrient deficiencies, urine testing. So there's lots of things we can do. But generally speaking, I work with basics and nature. And this is about, my radar is on. If you are not functioning as you should, instead of looking at treating your symptoms, let's look at going back to the root cause and starting from basics. And really, you can't go wrong with a few. I can give you some basic recommendations that I've prepared.
Sure.
I think there's a couple of rules around food and nutrition. One is understanding ingredients matter. So there's a lot of research that has been done now around vegetable oils and seed oils. So that create inflammation in the body. And if you have underlying inflammation, everything is hard work. Your body is in a state of stress, and it won't work the way that it is supposed to. In 1979, the Heart Association decided that animal fats were bad and that vegetable fats would help increase or decrease a cholesterol problem. And actually, the latest research shows that these seed oils and vegetable oils are actually causing a lot of inflammation. So in terms of oils, if everybody can use oils like butter, ghee, coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oils, and get rid of vegetable oils, sunflower oils, that's going to dramatically reduce inflammation in your body and is going to help you regardless of calories. And this is where, the work that I do, I keep reiterating, it's the quality of the ingredients that you put in and how your body uses them rather than the quantity.
Now, just on that point, I was always told that olive oil is good for you unless it's heated up. Is that true or is that a myth?
No, well, that is true. It's good for you you can cook with olive oil, but at very high temperatures, it can change the structure of the oil. So for cooking, it's always better to use avocado oil, coconut oil, ghee. If you're cooking at high temperatures, we're talking frying and roasting. But for low level cooking, if you cook lower and slower, then olive oil is a good oil to use.
Okay. We've just had a WhatsApp in for you, actually, Karen. Somebody called Edna in Mallorca. She said, I'm so pleased that you've got Karen on today because I've literally just come back from the hospital and been told that I have a vitamin B12 and iron deficiency. Could this be affecting my weight loss?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is what I see all the time. So many people are deficient in B12 and vitamin D, and this is directly linked with your gut health. So if you, especially living in the Mediterranean like we do, we should not be vitamin D deficient, for example, if we live in the sunshine. It's a gut health problem. Your B vitamins are giving you energy, and, without that energy and being used in your, as part of your metabolism, of course, it's going to slow you down. B12 is a life force on its own, as is vitamin D. And of course, iron is another one. Iron is linked to liver health as well. So your liver is this amazing organ that is filtering your blood every 3 seconds and monitoring all things like vitamins and minerals and hormones and blood sugar and toxins. So we have to pay attention to why you would be deficient in vitamin B and why you would be deficient in iron. Is it the ingredients that you're putting in, or is your body not absorbing it because of a number of reasons?
And what sort of reason could that be? Would it be an illness?
So the body is designed. We're like nature. We are like a plant. You put a plant in sunlight, in nutrient-dense soil, and feed it water. And if all the environmental factors around it are feeding its needs, it will grow. What tends to happen with us, we've got our internal environment inside our body, the gut health environment, and we have our external environment, which is at the moment so incredibly toxic. Generally, if you're not absorbing vitamins, it will be your internal environment. It'll be your gut health is off. It could be the speed at which you eat food. Again, it's understanding biology, because if you take your time to chew your food and taste your food, and you're eating natural food like a meat, a steak, for instance, your your body is working synergistically. So your taste buds are going to pick up what you're eating. They're going to feed that information to your brain. The brain will then tell the pancreas to release the protease, the enzymes that you need to break down protein. And this is where digestion starts. This is where food starts to be broken down into the tiniest building blocks so that we can then absorb it into the bloodstream. If you're eating too quickly or you're not eating a food that nature recognizes, those signals don't happen. And you either don't get the right enzymes to break down the food. And of course, if the food is not being broken down properly into the smallest blocks so that it can be absorbed, then all that's happening is you're eating food, it's staying in your digestive system, it can be fermenting, it can be feeding bad bacteria, it can be causing gas and bloating until eventually you poop it out. And your body's going to work so hard for you to absorb and get what it can. But if you can't break it down in the first instance, it's fighting a losing battle.
That is so interesting because I know that I have a bad digestion. I've suffered from IBS for years, as I think we've discussed. Now, I know that I don't chew my food anywhere near long enough, but I didn't know that it would have an effect.
Everything, it's fascinating. And this is why I love so much what I do. Everything has an effect. Even our thoughts about what we're eating has an effect on how we digest. So if you're approaching a food, and this is where religion comes in about saying a prayer or grace or showing gratitude for your food before you eat, it matters. If you are about to eat something thinking, I'm going to eat this is bad for me, I'm going to get fat. Your body is paying attention to everything that you do and say and will follow suit. And equally, if we show gratitude and we appreciate with love where our food has come from and we take our time to appreciate it, it gets digested better. And this is another really interesting area of scientific research, is this link between the gut and the brain and our thoughts and digestion, and how your thoughts can affect your microbiome, which is your balance of gut bacteria, but also your gut bacteria can affect your thoughts. It's like a bit of a chicken and egg scenario, a dual carriageway of information going back and forth.
Interesting. Well, it's obviously a popular subject. We've had an email in this time from Claire in the Costa Blanca. She said, please, would you ask your nutritionist, should we be reading food labels when we go supermarket shopping?
Oh my God, absolutely. This is, I rant about this all the time on my Instagram. I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to say what that is.
Of course, yes, you are, yeah.
So anyone listening that would like to follow me, it's Nutrition by Karen. That's on Facebook and on Instagram. I rant and rave about this in supermarkets all the time and this is where it's these problems that we're having with our digestion are not our fault. Ingredients in food has been engineered again since 1979. The epidemic of obesity and cardiovascular disease and diabetes has been increasing since they've been allowed to engineer food. So these food manufacturers, remember, are a business, and they have designed our food to add in ingredients that will change the texture to make it maybe softer so that we swallow faster, so we eat more, or they will add ingredients to make it thicker or stabilize the ingredients and all of these things affect our gut health. And this is it really starts a massive journey because there are so many people, for example, leaning towards a vegan plant-based lifestyle. And so they'll switch to plant-based milk. But when you look at the ingredients of plant-based milk should be, for example, if you have almond milk, you make almond milk by soaking almonds in water. And then you whiz that up and you drain off the pulp and you're left with this creamy liquid, which is water and the extract of the almonds. When you buy plant-based milk from a supermarket, they're going to add in sometimes sunflower oil, thickeners, gums, stabilizers, emulsifiers. And people are switching to these milks thinking they're a healthier option, and actually they could be throwing their gut health completely off.
Wow. It just shows you, because I know a lot of people that have said they've switched to almond milk, and there's another one, I forget which one it is, but yeah, interesting stuff. So if you're going to switch to it, make it yourself. Is that what you're saying?
Either make it yourself, or like your listener was saying, we've got to get used to reading ingredients labels. So there are good makes out there, but unfortunately we really have to search for them. So it's really important to turn those labels over. And in an almond milk, for example, you're looking for 3 ingredients: almonds, water, and milk. And so if you can find a brand that contains those, you're fine. So it's really about understanding what you need and what is important, which is going back to nature. You know, we should be eating whole, real food, whether you're plant-based or whether you're animal-based, and trying to avoid as much as possible the processed foods. And I know it's difficult. We're busy. I know I'm a mom. I've got 3 kids. I work. But, you know, when it becomes important to you, you make sure that it gets done. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is a good time of the year to do it. It's fascinating stuff, Karen. I could speak to you for much longer, but sadly we're out of time. So we mentioned your Facebook and Instagram is Nutrition by Karen. Do you have a website as well?
I do. It's nutritionbykaren.com.
Wonderful. People can. I've just been looking on your Facebook page. Actually, people can see lots of different tips and recipes. I'm just looking at the pink hummus. That looks gorgeous.
You know. I mean, look, my social media is a bit of it's a bit of a mess. You know, I'm self-employed and I'm just throwing things out there as they come to me. But you know, it is useful. I do get lots of feedback, and it is my aim to create a bit more of a community and a bit more structure around that. But I'm very open to anyone who wants to contact me. Obviously, I work in the clinic in Gibraltar. I also work online. I do group online coaching, and I do individual one-to-ones via Zoom as well. So I would love to help anybody.
Wonderful. Well, I feel sure we'll have you on the show again. But for the moment, Karen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Selina. Have a good day.
You too, and Happy New Year to you.
Yes, thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.